But today, I'm actually going to share with you a product I found on Amazon, and it's something I've been looking at for a while. I don't know why, but for some reason, these light kits that go up on the dashboard and the center console, they've piqued my interest, and perhaps it's because our kids are so young that it adds to the novelty, and I thought it would be a lot of fun. But I've been hesitant to get a set because I've seen mixed reviews on these things. And finally, after a while of watching, I think I found a good kit, and after installing it, I'm pretty satisfied with it. Now, before I go into the install and all of that, I do want to let you know I did do some things a little bit different than what they recommend, but I will cover all of that later. But for now, I want to show you what this particular light kit looks like, how much it costs, and is it worth it. So like I said, I bought this on Amazon, and the kit I got was the full kit. So you can get this in two sets. You can either get basically just the front of the car, where it's the center console, the dashboard, and then the 2 footlights, or you can get the full kit, which also includes these seat backs right here, which are fun for the kids, and then also footlights for under these seats. Now, the nice thing about that is there's no footlight in the Model Y for the rear of this car anyway, so the floor is always really dark. So this actually adds a lot of light back there. So something to consider, and I think you're gonna like it. There are some drawbacks, and this goes with every kit, but I will obviously tell you all about that. Now, what's cool about this one is it's controlled by an app. So with that, you can control a lot of settings on this thing. You can control things like the brightness. So if you want it really bright or you want to dim it down a little bit, you can do that. You can change the color. It's not just the standard like 7 different colors. It actually has an entire pyramid of colors that you can get a specific version of a color that you want. It's all controlled in the app. And then of course it does some modes too. So not just a static color, it also does gradient, it does flashes. It can also play with music. However, as it looks right now, you can only download a few songs, but I haven't quite figured that part out just yet. But I think there's an opportunity where you could possibly add your own music to it too, but I can't show you that here anyways because of copyright. So anyways, this kit I'm actually really happy with. So this one, to get all these pieces, I think it was $95 or something like that. And to get just the front half of the car, it's $65. Now, if you have the previous generation interior with the older console, I think it's about $5 less for each of those 2 kits. So about $90 and about $60 for those 2 kits respectively. Now, one of the things that I noticed about this kit in particular, it seems like they've addressed some issues with some of the other kits that have been out there for a while, and it was the tape. So a lot of these accessory companies, as you probably well know by now, they put almost like a knockoff 3M tape in there. This one has the real deal. It's good adhesive too. It's not even just the standard 3M tape. It's really good, strong, sticky stuff, so it does stay in place, and it's not going to ruin anything that it's touching if you ever want to remove it, which is nice. Now, because of that, it does give you some flexibility to do things a little bit more unique to you. So for example, instead of putting a light bar straight across the air vents in the front, I opted to use that curve that goes all the way to the sound bar in the very front. Now, there's some pros and cons to that. Number one, I think it looks really cool that way instead of just across the front. But the downside to that is on the passenger side on the windshield, I can see a reflection of that light if I have it bright enough. Now, on the driver's side, I can't see any of it, which is, I'm not sure if it's because it's just less bright over here or what the deal is, but I can't see a reflection on the driver's side, but I can on the passenger side. It doesn't really bother me going down the road or anything, so something to consider though. Otherwise, you can do just the standard install and it does not create a reflection on the windshield anywhere. I originally put it there. I just wasn't too crazy about it because it's really hard to get it straight and clean. So the more curves you have, the cleaner it's going to look as an install for whatever reason. But something that you might want to consider doing for your own install. When you install this kit, it is a nest of wires, and they want you to put it all in the center console. The issue with that is you now have like 6 different wires that are coming into the center console, and so even just closing it is a pain, but you certainly can't have a tray in there anymore. It just creates a lot of issues. So what I ultimately ended up doing was I pulled the panel off down by the pedals, and I stuffed a ton of the wires in there. Now, beside my driver's seat, I also have a module sitting there and some of the wires. So it's all out of the way, and it's a lot cleaner under this center console. And also, I had to upgrade and change out my center console tray because I needed one that had a cutout for that 12 volt, because that's how this thing is powered. What's also nice is once you plug that in, it's also got a button for on and off. So if you ever just wanted to shut it off without, you know, unplugging everything or whatever, you just press it right there. So that's actually kind of nice. But the install was not that bad. It did take a couple of hours to get it just the way I wanted it, especially with all the wires and stuff, just getting those kind of tucked away nice and out of sight. So there is that, but this is a lot of fun. I don't know why. Probably bringing me back to my high school days or something with neon lights under the car, but now they're in the car. I don't know. It's a lot of fun, and the boys absolutely love it. So that kind of goes with this territory. So again, about 95 bucks for the full kit, 65 bucks for the partial kit, and $5 less for the older generation Model Y interior. I know it also works just fine for the Model 3, so I'm pretty sure it's the same kit for the Y and the 3. I don't know why it wouldn't be. It's the same surfaces that it's touching. So, but super easy to install. It's straightforward. It just takes some time. So with that, maybe something you might want to consider. So let's go ahead and get into the install. Now, before I show you everything, I want to cover a couple of things really quick. Number one, when you are cutting the tubing to go into place, so example for the center console, you're going to kind of lay it out and kind of dry fit it, so to speak, to figure out how much material you need. I highly recommend you cut excessive material on the other side. So if it comes all the way to the edge, maybe give it a full 6 inches of extra material, so that way you have more flexibility with where the lighting element actually sits. So if you want to have a center console tray in there as an example, you got to have that thing sticking down there a little bit farther, so you need a little bit of extra material. And the same goes for the dashboard. That extra material you do need, because if you don't, the lighting element's going to be too high and you won't be able to put all those panels back together just right. So again, on the dashboard, probably more like 4 inches is enough to go beyond where it needs to touch, but make sure you do that. It's really important. It's better to have too much than too little for these bars. So when it comes to the wiring of these things, my recommendation is to kind of lay things out and get the lighting elements about where they're going to go and put a plan together of how the wires are going to hide. I was able to hide every wire except for the 12 volt plug because I have the module down beside my seat. In addition, you can't really see the wires in the back, but they are outside of this console. So there are some areas where you could tuck this in. So something to think about. I know the instructions say to stuff it all in the center console. It just looked terrible and basically made the center console useless. I think this looks a lot cleaner and a lot better. So let's go ahead and do the step-by-step. I'm going to show you how you can do the dashboard the way that I did it, as well as some of these different ways I did the wiring. So there you have it. If you're anything like me, you're gonna love this thing. It's actually it's just a lot of fun. It adds a little bit of character to the inside of the car. We enjoy it. We like playing with the lights, just like we like playing with fart mode with the boys. It's just fun. It's nice to have a little bit of extra something in the car. So if you do like it, I've of course got a link in the description for you. Again, whether you're in the updated center console or the old one, either one are available. So about $95 for the full kit, $65 for the partial kit, and $5 less for the older console. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, of course, give it the thumbs up. If you haven't already, of course, subscribe to the channel as we continue to post content regularly. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram @BeardedTesla. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.